Okay, the time has finally arrived to do an oil change on the Boss 302 Laguna Seca. I had jacking rails installed, and contrary to popular belief, jacking rails do in fact fit on the Boss 302. I got Steedas. Here's the rail here, and there is where it ends, and it ends short of the exhaust. That's where it bolts to in the rear. So there's more than enough room, and it does not interfere with the exhaust. Now, given that I have jacking rails, I am employing the solution of using my Lincoln Town Car jack to get the car slightly elevated so that I can fit my Milwaukee jack under it with a hockey puck. And I will jack up the other side as well with another floor jack that I have, and then use the jack stands and see how it holds. Of course, I will be chalking off the rear wheels. And here's a clearer picture of the jacking rail, and then you look down and there's where the side exhaust pipes end, or begin rather, on the Boss 302. So there is, I'd say, a good foot away from the end of the jacking rail at the back to where the exhaust pipe comes through. So you can see there's enough clearance to get a pair of jacking rails. Steeda is not paying me for this. I happen to like Steeda products. They've been around a long time, and their jacking rails just look like something I wanted. Made in the USA. Something the car needed in order to perform a trouble-free oil change, at least as far as jacking the car up. What comes next, who knows? Stay tuned to find out. Okay, I have the Milwaukee floor jack under the passenger side. I have a separate jack under the driver's side. I'd like to jack them up evenly. My idea with the the jack that's stowed in the Lincoln Town Car actually worked. It's such a low profile it fit underneath. I was able to jack it up high enough to get both of these jacks under the chassis and jacked on the jacking rail points. So there's one jacking rail, and the second one is on the other side, of course. Shot the engine bay, and here's the second one. Now, with a hockey puck right on the jacking rail. More later. Okay, here's the chocks. I have double chocks on both sides, front and back each wheel. And this, the jack stand, one of them is an AC Delco, shame on me, but it's a heavy duty 6-ton, and then I got a 4,000 pound one there as a secondary backup. It's good to have a backup. Last thing you want is to have a Boss 302 fall on you and crush you to death. Although, if a car had to fall on you and crush you, I guess that would be the car of my choice, but it's better not to have it happen. So safety first, right? And the car's doing a big wheelie here. You can see. I was thinking of actually using that other jack stand, or not the jack stand, but the floor jack as a fifth backup, maybe along some part of the metal underneath, but I think I'd be good with 4 jack stands. I mean, they'd all have to blow out and fail, but sometimes every day is Friday the 13th for some people, sometimes including me. More later. Well, to add to my overabundance of paranoia, I used the floor jack. So now I have 3 on each side. I have the floor jack, 2 floor jacks, and 2 regular jacks just to hold in place. Jack stands. So 3 on each side. You never know the character of a car. Some cars want to kill you. So haven't done any real substantial work on this car. I don't know her character yet. She may want to kill me. But I should be okay now. More later. Looks like my old man wanted in on the action. This was his car. He's 96 and a half years old. He bought this car when he was 91. A Boss 302 Laguna Seca. Because he wanted it. He's always been a gearhead. So just a short video here to show you where the drain plug is. And it looks like this thing has a transmission cooler. I take it that little scoop's a transmission cooler. Looks like the drain plug is right there, and you can actually see the jack rails maybe a little better there. So that's that, and let's begin. Well, any hopes and dreams I had of using a socket wrench to take the drain plug off are now expired, because I see that this car, the Laguna Seca, has a transmission cooler. Looks like a metal fin. Even worse though is somebody's horribly stripped the drain plug. It's supposed to take a 15mm socket, and it's starting to turn, but the plug is not turning, but the actual wrench is turning, and it is not turning the bolt, so I have to go get a new one. I can hardly wait for the horror stories once that drain plug does come off, because I'll bet the threads are all screwed. So maybe this car is going to need a new oil pan. Who knows? This was before my dad purchased the car, so it's not on us, but it is a bit disappointing. I think that's going to end the video, end the show for now. So the saga continues. At least I'm getting to know the car and getting to know its quirks and its shortcomings. And that's not a fault of Ford. That's whoever did the last oil change on it before the car changed hands. And absolute disaster. It's only supposed to be put to 19 foot-pounds of torque, according to the LMR late Mustang restoration, or late model restoration show that's on YouTube. And I believe that guy. He seems very earnest. Any event, take care, and I'll throw this up, and I'll keep any watchers posted as to what happens. Eventually the oil's got to be changed. It may also involve an oil pan exchange as well. Disappointing, but welcome to life. Take care. Well, I can safely say my first effort at doing an oil change on the Boss 302 Laguna Seca was a fail. Not through any failing on my part. This is the first time I tried to change oil in this car. I've changed oil in a number of cars, 89 Celine Mustang, my 91 GT. I change the oil all the time on my 2001 town car with no issues. With the drain plug, this particular drain plug seemed like it was spot welded on there. They must have used like 150 foot-pounds of torque. Alternatively, maybe they used red Loctite, which is the strongest Loctite. That bolt was not coming off, and it started to strip even more than it was already stripped when I got to it. So I relented. I ended up getting a replacement bolt from Ford. Right here, drain plug. Be looking forward to put that on. Ultimately, my calamity with the drain plug came down to a 15mm wrench. I tried both ends, and nothing could get a grip on it. They continued to turn, so that all the ends on that drain plug were rounded off. As a fallback position, I opted for vice grips, to no avail. It made the situation actually even worse, and it's even more stripped now than it was before. But it ain't coming off, not without some significant help, and so I'm going to end up taking the vehicle over to a tire shop and see if they can get that drain plug off. And if they can, and it's successful, I'm just hoping that the threads are not stripped on that oil pan. If so, it's going to be another horror story in the Laguna Seca life, and I will have to get another oil pan for the car. So, learning all the quirks and the ins and outs of this car, and I'm looking at its weak spots. It's not the car's fault. Somebody that did the oil change before the car changed hands to my father and then to me, they took it to the wrong shop, or they did it themselves, and they wrenched that drain plug on there so hard it's not coming off. Maybe they had a bad experience with a leaking oil pan, and they determined to themselves that there's no damn way I'm going to let this ever happen again. So I'll use 150 or 160 foot-pounds of torque on it, and it will never come off. So, but it means you'll never get another oil change. Anyway, assume that I know nothing, that I don't know what I'm doing. For safety reasons, always use your own judgment. I use two jack stands on each side, plus a floor jack on each side. So I had three things holding the vehicle up on the jacking rails. An overabundance of caution, but use your judgment, and your situation will of course vary from mine. And I wish you the best of luck, and if you're interested, stay tuned. I will give an update on what happened to this drain plug saga. In any event, take care.